Hi, fifth grade. Today's math lesson is over adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Now, if you remember from fourth grade, this should be a little bit of a review, but remember some of these can get pretty difficult. So we're gonna start with the easier ones, but then they will get a little bit more difficult. So make sure you watch this video a couple of times if you don't understand the first time through before you do your assignment. Let's go ahead and get started with some examples. So when we add or subtract mixed numbers, we always want to stack them up. So I'm just gonna stack these up, lining up my big numbers with my big numbers and my fractions with my fractions. So you'll notice that my fractions are right underneath each other and my big numbers are right underneath each other. We have to make sure that we do that. Then we always start on the fraction side. So 1/9 plus 1/9 would be 2/9. And 4 plus 2 would be 6. So my answer would be 6 and 2/9. Let's try another one. First, I have to stack them up. 5 and 3/8 plus 2 and 2/8. Remember, I'm lining up my big numbers with my big numbers and my fractions with my fractions. So let's start with the fractions first, remember. 3/8 plus 2/8 would be 5/8. And 5 plus 2 would be 7. So my answer would be 7 and 5/8. All right, now they're gonna get a little bit trickier, so watch these next three carefully. I'm gonna stack them up just like I have been. 1 and 3/5 plus 2 and 4/5. Lining up all of my places just like I need to. And what side am I going to start on? Always the fractions. 3/5 plus 4/5 is 7/5. Go to my big number side. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, you might notice, look at this fraction. It is improper. The top is bigger than the bottom. So we have to fix that. We cannot leave it like it is. And remember, in order to fix an improper fraction, we have to divide those. So over here, I'm just gonna find a spot. 7, my pencil lead broke, hang on just a second, divided by 5. These divisions should be quick because they're little numbers. So how many 5s will go into 7? That would be 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Subtract those. 7 minus 5 would give me 2. I don't have anything to bring down, so I have a remainder 2. Now I have to take that and turn it into a mixed number. So remember, cover up your remainder. 1 will be my big number. My remainder is going to be my top number of my fraction, so that's going to be a 2. And my bottom number always stays the same. So I look back, it was a 5, so it's going to be a 5 still. Now you're going to get there and you're going to think, whew, Miss Whitney, I've done a lot of work already. I know. But there's one more thing you have to do, and you can't forget to do this. You have to look at your mixed number you just made, and you have to add your two big numbers together, only the big ones. So we have a 3 before, and now we have a 1. So if we add 3 plus 1, that's 4. I'm just gonna write it up here. And then we leave this fraction right behind it, 2/5. So my final answer would be 4 and 2/5. Now, I don't want to erase any of that work because Miss Whitney wants to see what you've done to get there. Now, let's try another one because I know those are tricky. You might have to watch this a couple of times. First, we have to stack it up. 6 and 8/9 plus 4 and 7/9. I always start on which side? Fractions. So 8/9 plus 7/9 would be 15/9. Then go to your big number side. 6 plus 4 would be 10. So I have 10 and 15/9. I look at my fraction and I notice that's improper, so I need to fix it. How do we fix it again? Divide. So 15 divided by 9. How many 9s will go into 15? That would be 1. 9 times 1 is 9. Subtract those. I get a 6. Nothing to bring down, so that 6 is my remainder. Now I have to take that and turn it into a mixed number. So cover up your remainder. I have a 1 left, so that's my big number. My remainder becomes my top number. Oops. My bottom number always stays the same. So looking back, it was a 9, so it's still going to be a 9. Now remember, you get to this point and you're thinking, whew, that's a lot of work. One more thing to do. One more thing. You have to add your two big numbers. So I have a 10 and a 1. So my new big number is going to be 11. And then stick this fraction right behind it, 6/9. So 11 and 6/9 would be my final answer for this one. Watch that as many times as you need to. I'm going to do one more with you here. 3 2/7 plus 2 5/7. Remember, we always stack them up first. And then we always start on which side? Fractions. So 2/7 plus 5/7 is 7/7. Go over to my big number side. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now look at that fraction. This one's a little bit different. 7/7 is the same as 1 whole. So right here I have 1 whole, and I have 5 more wholes right here. So I'm just going to add those together. What's 5 wholes plus 1 more whole? That would be 6. And I would not have a fraction that time because my fraction I had added up to 1 whole. So my answer there would just be 6. Again, you can watch this as many times as you need to before you start your assignment. Now I'm going to scooch on down because we are going to work on subtraction. Okay? Just like addition, we have to stack them up first. We have to line everything up. So 3 2/3 minus 1 1/3. Still starting on my fraction side, just like we were doing, except now we're subtracting those. So I have 2/3 minus 1/3. That would be 1/3. Go to my big numbers. 3 minus 1 would be 2. So my answer would be 2 1/3. Let's try another one, stacking them up first. 2 3/4 minus 1 3/4. I always start with my fractions. So 3/4 minus 3/4. Well, that would be 0/4. So we don't have to write it if it's a 0, but if you wanted to, you could write 0/4. I'm just going to leave it blank. So I'm just going to go over to my big numbers. 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer for that one would actually just be 1. All right, let's try another one, number 3 here. 12 2/5, stacking them up nicely, minus 8 4/5. Now, here's where we get a little bit trickier. We're still starting on the fraction side. We always do that. 2/5 minus 4/5. I can't do that. I can't take 2 minus 4. So we're going to have to borrow. So you're going to go up here to your big number, cross him out. My 12 is going to become an 11. And when I borrow from that, I'm going to go over to my fraction side, and I'm going to put a plus sign, and then I have to add 5/5 because that's equal to 1 whole. Remember, 5/5 is the same as 1 whole. The reason I know that I'm adding 5s is because I just looked at my bottom number. So you're just going to look at your bottom number and then add that to the top and bottom. So now I have to do that little addition problem right there. 2/5 plus 5/5 would be 7/5. And now I'm ready to subtract. 7/5 minus 4/5 would give me 3/5. And 11 minus 8 would give me 3. So my answer for that one would be 3 3/5. Now, if you didn't get that, don't worry. We're going to do a couple more here. Let's do number 4. Stacking them up first. 3 1/4 minus 1 3/4. Which side am I going to start on? Fractions. 1/4 minus 3/4. Oh, I can't do 1 minus 3, so I need to borrow. So cross out my 3. It is going to become a 2. I'm going to go to my fraction side, and I'm going to put a little plus sign. And then I'm looking at my bottom number. What is our bottom number here? Hopefully you said 4, so you're going to add 4/4. Now do that little addition problem. 1/4 plus 4/4 is 5/4. And now we can subtract. 5/4 minus 3/4 would be 2/4. And then I go to my big number side. 2 minus 1 would be 1. So my final answer here would be 1 2/4. All right, one more for you. Remember, you can watch this as many times as you need to if you're confused. 4 minus 2 3/8. You might notice this one looks a little weird. It only looks weird because that 4 doesn't have a fraction with it. So if it ever doesn't have one, just fill it in with 0. So let's just put 0/8. And now it looks like normal. So always fill in with 0 if you need to. So we have 0/8 minus 3/8. Well, I can't do 0 minus 3, so we better borrow. Cross out that 4. What is it going to become? A 3. Go over to my fraction side, put a little plus up there, and I'm looking at that bottom number to figure out what I'm going to add. My bottom number is an 8, so what am I going to add right there? Hopefully you said 8/8. Whatever that bottom number is, that's what we're adding on top and bottom. All right, then do that little addition problem. 0/8 plus 8/8 is 8/8. Now I can subtract. 8/8 minus 3/8 would give me 5/8. And 3 minus 2 would give me 1. So that gave me 1 5/8. Now, your homework is going to have several of those on there. So take your time, do your very best, watch this video several times if you need to get the hang of it. This one's a little bit trickier of a lesson, and then make sure you get your homework turned in to me whenever you're done. You can do it. Stay focused. Bye.